Welcome to the University of North Carolina Wilmington Cultural Arts Building. It's home of UNCW's Department of Music and the many faculty and student musicians that bring music to life. Within these halls, music is being made every single day. But the question that music entrepreneur course students have answered for 8th graders of Myrtle Grove Middle School is the many ways of how music is made. So let's start off with a snapshot of just some of the questions that we hope to answer in our project. So of course, music means something different to everyone. It's listened to differently, which means it's also made differently. We also have 5 people in our team, which means 5 different voices and 5 different opinions on how we think that music is made. None of them incorrect. And of course, we want to encourage young people to explore music on their own and to not have to fear about staying within certain confines when creating their own music or expressing themselves. So we find it very apt that we chose the 8th grade students of Myrtle Grove Middle School in Wilmington, North Carolina, to deliver this message to. Now, before we get started, let's introduce our members of the Quintessentials Team and find out just what their motivations for music is.
My name's Daniel Rogers, and I play percussion. My major is the music entrepreneurship major at UNCW. I love music, and I always have. I started when I was in 4th grade jamming with my uncle. He played guitar, I played drums, and ever since then, I haven't stopped. I wanted to pursue it in middle school. I pursued it in high school. I was on the drum line. I just loved rhythmic values and just making things on the spot. And so really the only hard part that I had really trouble with was reading what was on paper and coming up with how to figure that out. And that's why I love learning about it in theory and piano class and all that, because it really helps me understand what I want to understand.
Hey, my name is Faith Priore. I'm a bass major here at UNCW. My major is music entrepreneurship, and I chose music as my career because I enjoy working with other people and collaborating on musical sounds, and music really helps the emotion and everybody starts to feel the same way.
Alright, my name is Zoë Harris. I'm a trumpet player here at UNCW, and I actually started playing trumpet when I was in the 5th grade, so this will almost be 12 years of playing trumpet, and it's kind of cool because I've never had this desire to quit music ever since I was young. I grew up listening to music in the house all the time, whether we're doing chores, eating dinner. My parents just always had music playing in the house, so that kind of built up my interest in music, and I played all throughout school. It wasn't until late in high school where I started discovering gospel and jazz music and how I love to play both of them. So I've continued that here in college, and just never turned back as far as in music and trying to pursue it and get better. So I'm glad to be here as a music major.
Okay, so my name is Dillon Harless. Most people call me Dillon Harless. I play the guitar. That kind of started when I was 5 years old. My mom told me I either needed to learn how to play an instrument or get a job. I figured I didn't really have the motor skills to work a real job at the time. I think a good way to learn to master them was to play an instrument, so I picked the piano at first. I started out with that, and I kind of just went from there. I branched out to a few different instruments till I settled on guitar, and I just grew to love it, My major is computer science, and I've got 2 years left. It's pretty cool, but I definitely like music a lot more than computer science. I'm working in the recording studio, which is a nice opportunity.
Hi, my name is Nieves Villaseñor, and I play the saxophone as well as compose music too. My major is music education, and I study music because I feel like it's definitely something that's inside me, and it's something that I always want to share with other people. I'm the director of Dub Sax Ensemble, which is a saxophone quartet that does a lot of educational outreach performances. The thing I like most about music is that you can enjoy it by yourself, but you can also enjoy it with others. And sometimes the most wonderful things come out of just collaborating with other people and others, I guess, ideas of what makes music great. So this project that we've done as an educational outreach project for our class was great because, we have people in our group that came from many different kinds of experiences, many different kinds of backgrounds, and we came together and made something that was great that hopefully everybody will get a chance to see what we did and love it too. So I thought it was absolutely awesome how we all came together. The fact that Daniel was big into playing percussion and drum set and doing stuff on the fly. Same thing with Zoe, who was really awesome at improvising. And Dillon, who I actually didn't know very much about until we did this project. I didn't know what he was going to bring to the table yet because I hadn't really known him so well besides actually being in the class.
One thing that I was worried about was, as the only one without an actual professional musical background, I wasn't sure how it was going to flow in terms of jamming and trying to figure out our sound. But when Nieves started playing his piece, it was so beautiful, and we all just felt it and just came up with amazing parts, everybody all at the same time. It was magical almost. It was a really good experience. Everybody was really supportive. It turned out to be a lot easier than I thought it was going to be to mesh with everyone.
That's what I love about jamming and just playing with other people is figuring out who they are musically, even though I've already been in a class with them for the entire year.
And we came together, and the first time we played, we just jammed together, and that's something I had never done. I don't think Nieves wasn't big on that. We just kind of all worked together, and we planned this great musical set that we really appreciated that everybody else could have appreciated no matter what age group they were.
Playing for the first time was so much fun. I love just getting collaborative and playing as a group. We hit it off, and honestly, that's the best thing that you can look forward to, is just playing with people that you find so easy.
But the great thing about our group was that we worked well together. It never felt like, oh, you can't improv, oh geez, like you're lame. But it was very supportive. It was like any idea that I came up with, everybody listened to it and we kind of built off of it, and it ended up being more than ever I had thought it was going to be.
Without further ado, I'm going to turn the class over to our UNCW students.
So when it came to starting, we were all excited to get there, and we came and we saw a strings teacher teaching the class, and then we were wondering, how are we going to set up? So we got our stuff, we set up, and then I was ready, Zoe was ready, Faith was ready, Dillon was ready. Daniel was still trying to figure out how to get the drum set to get started up.
Because we've got a concert in 5 weeks, 4 weeks next week, okay? Use what they tell you today.
I don't play out a lot. I've never really played out a gig that was like my first, if you want to call it a gig. So that was my first time really trying to set things up for people that I'm playing for, just on the spot pretty much. Because when we got there, we didn't have much time to set up. Their class was only 50 minutes, and we had 30 minutes of material and Q&As after and everything. So setting up for that was, I guess, one of the only real challenges, because we had never been there and we didn't know what to expect.
All right, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We're happy to be here today. We're music majors and film majors from our computer science major from UNCW. We're taking a music entrepreneurship class, and one of our assignments is to come out here to a middle school and be able to present kind of like a workshop about music to you. So we're here today to kind of share with you some things about how to write your own music, what it takes to write your own music if you have some musical ideas, and then about improvisation as well, as some of you might be in jazz band, or maybe you want to one day play in jazz band or create your own music. So we're here to kind of give you some tools to help with that, as well as to give you some inspiration as to who to listen to, what kind of things you want to be thinking about when you're playing. So I'm Zoe.
I've learned with public speaking that you never want to give the appearance that you're either not ready or that something unplanned has happened. So even if something unplanned did happen, which it did that day, you can still, save the project, save the presentation, and further let the kids know what's going on, because we didn't explain everything in our original intro. So it kind of gave more time for us to give them more information and ask if they had any questions right off the bat, because you never know. So it worked out well, and we did it flawlessly. So
we just want to let you know that anytime throughout, if you have any questions, and it seems like you really want to know what we're doing, or if you have a question about anything, stop us and just raise your hand. Again, like Ms. Stanfield said, you probably won't play until a little bit closer to the end when we get to the improv section. We'll have a part where the whole class can be involved in playing. So you're welcome to sit your instruments down for the first portion of this and just kind of enjoy what we're talking about. And again, ask any questions if you have any, and we're here to kind of help you.
So the students during the class, I think I asked maybe about 25, 30 times if they had any questions. And we were notified that this was the kind of too cool for school type group, but at the same time, I knew that once we had finished the presentation, they kind of enjoyed what we did. They may not have shown it, but that they were really just sitting there and being receptive of it.
So we started with a tune that probably didn't originally have horns, I'm assuming. It didn't have horns in it. But you can take whatever instrument you play and apply it to the kind of music you like. So if you hear a song on the radio and it's something that you really like, pick up your instrument and try to play it. A lot of times you can learn things just by ear. If you don't always have music notes in front of you, but you want to learn something, train your ear to do that. If you hear something over and over again, or you have an iPod, or something on YouTube that you find interesting that you want to learn, just figure it out on your instrument. Sit there and play some wrong notes. Some wrong notes will come out at first, but eventually you'll get what the melody is. And you say, oh, that's in the key of B flat, or that's in the key of D. And it kind of helps you learn your instrument better, too, when you can play things by ear like that. So now we're going to talk a little bit about actually making music more on a written level. So not so much by ear, but writing it out with notes. So Nieves is going to talk about that.
So a lot of what we hear today to teach you guys about, or to tell you all about, is how there's many different ways to come up with music. As you saw when we were playing for you guys, we had this main melody going on, but we all communicated on what was going to happen next. But then another thing you can do is you can think about it in your head and then write it down so that way you can remember it later. So what we're going to play today is a piece that I wrote a while back ago when I was in high school for my senior project, and we're bringing it to life for you guys today. It starts off with many different kinds of components when it comes to making music. So you have your bass part, you have your harmony, and you have your melody. And you'll hear those all layer in the piece we're about to play for you. And after we play it, I'll talk to you guys a little bit about the different parts of it and what it looks like after you're done writing. So it was a really cool experience to be able to bring something that I had written a long time ago to life. I wrote I'm Far From Here back in 2007. So for many of my colleagues that I was playing with, they were young children during that time. So I was a senior in high school at the time. And so it was cool to bring it to life in a classroom and to have it, I guess, evolve into something that was totally different than I'd ever imagined it. When I wrote I'm Far From Here, it began as something on a piano. And within these years, it's evolved into so many things. And it was really awesome to bring it and make it as part of an outreach project to teach other kids to do the same thing as what I did. Now, while I did it in high school, it's never too early to learn how to express yourself in music. And I think that being able to explain to them how it works and for them to learn how to do it on their own was a big part of what this project was about.
When we got to Nieves' pre-made music, I think it was really intriguing for the students to be able to hear a piece that we had made, and there was more intrigue than another student made it, and I think that really gave them the confidence that they could do it themselves.
The piece. And from that, when I made the music, it all began from that, and you'll hear that throughout the whole piece.
And then we bring in, and so when you hear a melody like this, you can add different kinds of underlying rhythm, whether it's to layer on top of it. So you can actually blend the best of both worlds, whether it's writing out your piece of music, which from my end looks like this. Just like a score like what Miss Danko has. When she conducts you guys on her band pieces, she's got a score in front. She sees everybody's part. Same thing goes for my music, as I have everybody's part written out. You can present music, even if it's just one idea that starts off with one melody. You can put many different instruments, add many different kinds of colors, and convey whatever emotion you want.
From that, some things that you do want to keep in mind when you're actually maybe just making music up on the spot. Maybe you're not to the point of writing it down yet, and you're just trying to figure out ways to be creative with music. Have you ever heard a song that you really like?
And the whole point of this next part is pretty much Zoe is explaining the whole thing about improv, and so me and Dillon are there as the rhythm section to help her out with that. We're teaching them. We pretty much chose melody beforehand, Twinkle Twinkle, in the hopes that they would say it, and one of them did say it. We pretty much just wanted to show them the different kind of genres that you can use the same melody for, and that really helps with improv, because that's really like the core of figuring out how to play things. So first we did a Latin kind of groove. Then we did a hip hop kind of thing. And then we ended with a ballad.
choppy like I kind of was with hip hop, but I kind of played it more legato. So there's plenty of styles you can experiment. You can have a few songs that maybe you want to write in different styles. So experiment with different styles, figure out what you like. I enjoy playing jazz, so I like to play a lot of smooth jazz. That's my style. But you might like to play something quick. So speaking of things to kind of keep in your back pocket, let's see. When you're thinking about making your own music, you want to first of all be creative. So you want to be creative. Think outside of the box. It's okay to play wrong notes. Have we played wrong notes before? Experimenting. We don't always start out with something perfect. It's something that we decide that's going to be what I keep. We be creative. Also, it's important to listen. Do you have certain groups or bands that you love to listen to, that you listen to outside of school? That's another cool thing is some of your sound you can develop by listening to other artists. So my man here plays saxophone. There are plenty of saxophone players you can listen to and model after in order to achieve the sound that he might find he likes.
To wrap things up, we had a section of the presentation where we gave the kids an opportunity to play along with us and also create their own rhythms. We limited them to one note just to kind of make it easier and make it flow. And somebody would take a turn making their own rhythm with that one note. I think we told them it was C, and everybody else would copy them. And Daniel was keeping a steady beat the entire time. It was really cool to see what some of the kids came up with. Some of them got pretty creative. I was impressed.
So part of it, we're going to The other aspect we'll talk about is rhythm, and we're just going to kind of have you play. We're going to keep it simple and everybody play a concert B flat, but we're going to have it split. You don't have to move for this, but we're going to have the woodwinds mimic Nieves and the brass mimic me. So play. We're just going to keep something going, okay? So it's going to be call and response. If I play a rhythm on concert B flat, you play it back, brass. Nieves plays something, which he'll play right after me. So I'll play something, the brass will repeat it, then Nieves will play something, and the woodwinds will repeat it. Is that pretty simple? All right. All right. All right, you ready? Oh, you there. Are there any last questions before we wrap up here? Anything?
I was really excited when we got to the part where all the kids got to play, because you could tell, like Dillon said earlier, they were sitting there anxious to play. And so when they finally got to, some of them looked surprised that I picked them out to play.
There's a lot of times with when it comes to kids, they impress you. They come up with the most random things, and I think that was great, and I think it was good to give them an opportunity to be able to just come up with something on the fly. I mean, even the most shyest kids, even the shyest kids that were in there, you know, Zoe got into conductor mode and pointed somebody out, and they went for it.
Everybody can do this. Everybody is capable of improvisation. So we really got to drive that home with this very simple experiment, and just had each of them pick out their own rhythm. So it was really cool to hear what they came up with. Even the shy people who didn't play that much or didn't like to play and be put on the spot. But it's just something about getting out there and doing it that kind of, we felt, gave them the confidence going forward that they can do this, they can make their own music.
When we were done with the whole project, the teacher actually brought up in front of the class that she really enjoyed it and that she wanted to make kind of a project out of this when their concert was over with their few weeks left. And I think that was really exciting because that's all we wanted to do. We wanted to go and help students learn that they can write music and that they can bring new people together, and there's different genres behind every song that you can do by yourself. And I think that we really got in touch with them and how they can really expand their own music horizon at such a young age, which is good because going into high school now they have more experiences that they can open their mind and be creative, and they don't have to just stick to what they know or what they can learn off paper.